Listeners, we know you love Cricket et al., the podcast, and what's not to love, but you can also love us online and read Cricket et al., the Substack experience. Isn't that right, Pete?
That's right. It's a podcast, a website.
It's a way of life. cricketetal.com for all your cricket reading needs. It's Gideon Haig over here.
And Peter Lawler over here.
And welcome to Cricket et al., your independent cricket podcast. We've been watching a bit of cricket, we've been thinking a bit of cricket, we've been talking a bit of cricket, and we thought we might as well produce some content related to cricket. So, Pete,
Monday morning, what else are we going to do?
Indeed. We don't have that. Our lives aren't that interesting. In fact, they were so uninteresting, we were both watching the T20 last night.
Sunday night watching the T20.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, isn't it, during the footy season to be watching
when it's in Australia, cricket. It does feel a bit novel.
Yeah. Well, 10,000 people showed up to a game in Darwin in August. That is significant, isn't it? Even if the game isn't, I think.
Yes. How long is it since they've played in Darwin?
Oh, I don't know. Long time. Clearly a long time.
At least a decade. Although there is quite a lot of cricket going on in Darwin at this time because you're guaranteed of good weather. The facilities are pretty good. I think quite a few states have got into the habit of doing pre-season up there because they're guaranteed pleasant conditions and lots of interest. And it's a good place to get a group together and bond them because there's not a hell of a lot else to do but play cricket.
Yeah. Gavin Dovey's running the game
last night.
Yeah, Gavin Dovey's running the cricket up.
That's right, he is too.
Now, and he seems, who was the team manager with the Australian team for years and years and years. He's got it into a really good place. I was watching it last night. I think, it's not a bad way to get your junk out, put the rubbish out. When you've got to play these T20 and ODI series, it just clog up your summer. If you can play them in August in Darwin, that's fantastic. Yes. Gives the summer some more breathing space, doesn't it?
Yes.
Did you think it was a good game, Gideon?
Well, I think it's notable that, Australia have now won 9 on the bounce.
Yeah.
And I think it's Mitchell Marsh has won 22 out of 25 matches as a T20 captain. And unfortunately, he didn't make too great a start during that T20 World Cup. But he's got a long run up to the next instalment, and he's by leading from the front. He couldn't have been much more upfront in his leadership last night, hitting the first ball of the game for 6.
Kind of signalled intent, didn't it?
Yeah, and he's carved a team in his own image. Don't you think? It's a very versatile team. It's a kind of a team with people who can kind of bat anywhere. Everyone can bowl a bit. It's a good fielding team. It looks like a proper 21st century T20 team now, doesn't it, Australia?
Yeah. In his own image too, particularly, I think, Green and David, at least in their approach to batting, that sort of broad-shouldered, sort of brutal batting that they won. So Australia won. They hit 13 sixes and South Africa hit 2, didn't they?
It's a discrepancy you can't quite narrow, isn't it? I mean, even though it's the margin wasn't a blowout, and potentially South Africa were in it up until that Hazelwood over. I think they needed 60 from 36, didn't they? And all of a sudden, Hazelwood came in and shot the lights out. But it was interesting that Australia got to 6 down in the power play, but they kept barrelling on because they did have the batting resources to keep on swinging.
Well, they were 6 for 75 in the 8th over when Maxwell got out. I don't think I've ever seen so many balls hit so high in the sky.
It was high, wasn't it? Yeah, they almost vanished into the stratosphere. They were going so high.
It was an impressive innings from Tim David. 83 or 52 balls. He hit 8 sixes. Serious hitting. Also from Green, who's on a roll. I mean, he only made 35, but from 13 deliveries. He too, hit a ball a long way. Interesting.
And if you hit the ball high enough, it becomes difficult to catch, doesn't it? I mean, Stubbs is a very good fielder.
Yeah.
But he just couldn't quite get a stable platform to take that catch when David was on 56. And then the next 2 balls vanished for 6 and then he smashes Ngidi too. and, all of a sudden the game's gone in 5 minutes.
Was it Mutasami who was bowling then?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Mapeka, 19-year-old.
Yeah,
he was
Queen
pretty
of
impressive.
Mapeka, yeah.
Hadn't seen him before, 4 wickets.
The youngest bowler from a full member to take a T20 forfer.
Records are being set. Records are being broken. A man holding 2 beers took a catch. Is that the first time in history a man holding 2 beers took a catch?
Yep.
Kind of has. It had all the key ingredients for a T20 match, didn't it?
Didn't spill a drop.
The viral crowd catch.
Yes.
Had the Glenn McGrath, what's his name? Glenn Maxwell skipping rope catch. You've got to have a skipping rope catch. Gee, it was a good one too, wasn't it? Yeah. And it had Tim David hitting all those sixes.
Rickleton probably would have been aware that was. He probably would have thought, I've got that out of the screws. Oh, no, it's Maxi down there. Yeah. I'm a fair chance of getting out here. And he does make those things look like second nature, don't they? I mean, he does practice them. We know that. But he's always just completely poised. He's got the opportunity to set himself, and he calculates the angles. He understands the proximity of the Toblerone, and it's almost become worthy of calling those catches a Maxwell, isn't it?
Yeah, he kind of does it very well. You're right. I thought you're right. Getting just back to the captaincy from Marsh, I thought bringing in that slip during the Hazelwood over and getting the Maxwell catch at slip. Yeah. He was really on the game, isn't he? And it's funny because when I saw him bow out of Test cricket, when was he dropped, Gideon? Was that summer before last? I thought,
he got injured, didn't he? Got injured and just couldn't find his way back.
Slipped his way out, but really found a niche there. It's going to be a long way back into a Test team from Mitchell Marsh. There's a few in front of him these days.
Yeah. But I think he enjoyed anything that went to the camaraderie of a team. He was always the kind of the centre of levity in any Australian team. There's something about playing T20 cricket that kind of suits that sort of captaincy. And he is also the kind of player who others want to pull for, don't they? You want to make Mitch happy. You want to justify his faith in you. And that could be the basis for a cohesive T20 team as well.
Have you been watching the 100, Gideon?
Briefly. I mean, it is inherently brief. But I've watched instalments. It doesn't sit well with me. It is interesting to me that the lack of 20 balls in an innings, the reduction from 120 balls to 100, does seem to make it just that little bit too chaotic to enjoy. T20 players were always sort of saying things like, you've got longer than you think. But in 100 cricket, you have less time than you know. And I think it's really difficult for players to walk straight into it. It's interesting to me that, James Anderson has played in the first 2 games, hasn't he, for the originals, and he's gone for 51 off 30 and no wickets. And he's 43 and he's playing with a 17-year-old Farhan Ahmed. I mean, nothing could be more guaranteed to make you feel your age than playing 100 cricket with a 17-year-old. So there's been sort of no romantic comeback for James Anderson. The game can make you look pretty foolish. And honestly, the scores just remind me of under 12s. Don't they? One guy gets 30 and no one else gets double figures. It's just a little bit too miniature. I mean, I've watched a bit of a T10 game, and that's just ridiculous. But it may be that cricket kind of achieves its level of absurdity at the point of the 100.
You're a traditionalist. You think that the 120 is the bottom line for cricket, 120 deliveries.
Well, it's certainly it's sort of I can watch T20 cricket with pleasure.
Yes.
But I just can't maintain concentration for the 100. It's a paradox. I could watch an entire Test match and be completely enthralled, but I haven't the patience to watch a game of the 100.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty similar with T20 most of the time, to be honest with you as well. It's introduced some wonderful things. I noticed that David Warner, for his efforts in the most recent game, was crowned the Meerkat Match Hero.
Wow. Okay.
The Meerkat Match Hero. That's pretty bloody cool. I haven't looked up the trophy, but I hope it is
straight up.
Meerkat.
That's straight up in the pool room, isn't it?
If it's a stuffed the taxidermist has been to some meerkat they found.
The girls will love playing with that, won't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's still talk in England, isn't there, that the hundreds could revert to the T20 format, although that would be a signal of retreat, I guess, to some degree.
Well, actually, that came up during the World Cricket Connects conference, and the guy from Sky was asked, how would you feel about it turning into a T20 competition? And he said, fine, doesn't worry me. So I think and
the only argument for it being 100 balls, from memory, was that they wanted to fit it into a certain space in the broadcast, didn't they?
Yep. And now they'd have to change the marketing to the 120.
I'll just call it cricket.
Yeah. Or the 6 score. How about that? There you go. That's just a bit of marketing genius off the top of my head. The 6 score.
I've read 2 interviews recently, where one with someone in the BBL talking around, the potential privatisation of the BBL, saying how the BBL is unrivaled second to the IPL. Then I read an interview about someone in the 100 2 days later who said exactly the same thing about the 100. It seems like both competitions are striding for a silver medal in the short form cricket stakes, and who can sell their ass fastest on the street corner. You and I were both commented on the fact that the commentators were kicking the idea around last night. Mark Howard and Mark Warren and Kerry O'Keefe were basically talking about it as though the deal was already done, or that at least the process to privatisation was foreordained. What did you think of that? Sounded like a sales pitch to me.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they are of that mind. I'm sure plenty of people are of that mind. But both broadcasters are apparently keen on the privatisation. Yes. Or I've read that. I haven't actually heard it from their own mouths, because they want more money in the competition, and they want better, and they believe that they will bring a higher quality of player in there. So it was pretty interesting to hear the first T20 broadcast since that Boston Consulting Group document's been leaked out.
Well, that document hasn't been leaked out, has it?
Yeah, well,
that document hasn't been leaked out.
No,
and
Daniel
Daniel
Brettig's done some very good reporting on it, some extensive reporting on it. Yeah.
But the report itself hasn't been released. I noticed that Andrew Jones, in his piece in the Sydney Morning Herald, said that the report should be public. Yeah. And I agree with him. It's obviously it's an area of such potential contention, and it's such a serious enough step that we would be justified in looking at the administration's figurings. Sure. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. The best way to disarm potential critics is to admit them to the inner parts of your thinking. If the game does belong to Australians, as Cricket Australia is always arguing, maybe we should see how it is justified that the game can be sold to people who aren't Australians, who actually aren't, who have no particular loyalty to Australian cricket, but who have other motivations.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I'm sure they will argue that there's some sort of competitive privacy requirements. I'm sure you can black a little bit of it out while telling us exactly what you're going to do. But don't worry, we'll find out in good time, Gideon. Yeah, that's what we're always sure, don't we?
It actually reminded me of the early days of the Big Bash League, where a few of us wrote some critical things about the early days of the Big Bash League, and there was this summit at Cricket Australia and a few journalists were invited in to see Mike McKenna do his lantern slides of why the Big Bash League was a great idea. And I can remember afterwards saying, "Oh, so can we get copies of that information that you flashed up in front of us?" "Oh, no, it's proprietary information. It can't possibly be revealed." But I said, "But you just showed it to us." But apparently you could only show it to us for a few seconds.
Oh, really?
And then it became secret again.
It's like corporate flashing.
Get
a load of these, boys.
That's exactly what it was like. And I can remember there were some quite strange and anomalous things in the figurines that I wanted to look at a second time, but I didn't get the opportunity. Jeez. So, yeah, there was a very brief opening of the kimono, and it closed just as smartly.
Victoria. Sounds like Victoria is pushing against the privatisation somewhat.
Yeah, and that's no bad thing, actually. I think there should be an environment of contestation about this. It is a huge step, and it's an irrevocable step too.
Yeah,
you won't get cricket nationalised in the future if it is privatised now. So it's a fork in the road, and I think we need to know the maximum amount of information about it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure this won't be the last time that we discuss it, Pete.
Part of me goes, it's the BBL, let them have their fun. Do I really care? I do note Nick Cummins' phrase, we're custodians, not owners. I thought, yeah, he's got them there. Yeah, it's a very good point, hasn't it?
You're right.
Mm. And the BBL's coming at us like a freight train. I noticed Alistair Dobson's down in Tasmania today, promoting the start of the season where it ended so well in Hobart last year.
And so is the Test series, Pete. So is the Ashes.
Nice segue, Gideon. Yes.
Indeed. Well, Pete, what can we say about Saley that hasn't been said before? Not least of all by us. What is it?
Well, so to reiterate, Gideon, stop me if you've heard this before. Saley is a new eSIM service app brought to you by Nord Security.
Well, there's a guarantee of quality for you, isn't there? Nord Security, I'd trust them with my life.
And Saley have an eSIM. And an eSIM is the best thing that they've invented since I've been a cricket journalist. It makes your life so much easier when you're travelling around the world. You download it once. That's all you have to do. It sits there on your phone. Every country you get to, you just go, hey, Saley, plug me in, and you're away.
It's a reassuring feeling, isn't it?
It is.
When you get to anywhere new and you go, oh, thank God I've got my trusty Saley. Yes. Trusty Saley on the phone already. It provides an internet connection wherever you travel, and it saves you money in roaming fees. And haven't we all had problems with roaming fees in the past, Pete?
We have. That satisfied look on your face when you're sitting in the back of the cricket.
I went to the telecommunications ombudsman about my roaming fees.
But I have enjoyed it. Just watching you as we pull out of the airport towards our next cricket destination, and you just lean back in the seat and you turn on your eSIM. That's look on your face. I've skipped the queues. Yeah. I'm not paying the high fees. There's no security problems. I'm away here.
I wonder what the poor people are doing who don't have access to Saley. Those who are unenlightened. But you avoid scams, Pete. Scams.
That's right. In the airports.
Very bad. Scammers selling fake SIM cards outside train stations and airports.
And
you don't have
if you're not as intelligent as you are, as you and I are. What's intelligent? I just made that up.
I don't know. It should be a word, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. There's 24-hour support, 7 days of the week in every country of the world.
So the eSIM plans are compatible for iOS and Android devices, and you get a full refund if your device isn't eSIM compatible. So what could be fairer than that?
And if your phone's eSIM compatible, Gideon, anybody's phone's eSIM compatible.
Exactly. It's like 2 soup cans connected by a piece of string. So, If you go to saily.com/cricket et al. And use the code cricket et al., you'll get an exclusive 15% off your first purchase. You won't get a better offer than that today, will you, Pete?
No. A tariff busting 15% off. Just tell them Cricket et al. Sent you.
Listener Ian Setchwell has sent us some information about some tidings from Perth.
He has. He said that, let me just see if I can find this quickly on my inbox while we're talking. He says that buses in Perth are getting around claiming that the first day of the test match is sold out, which is fantastic news.
And that's a big deal because that's a big ground. Yeah.
It is. That's 60,000 odd, isn't it? So look out. The earth is shaking, I think, around this Ashes thing. Apparently, he says that they're saying day one sold out and they're encouraging people to take out WACA membership, which is a good thing too.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I can see that. I can see the argument for that.
Yeah. No, I can't. Of course, it's like never find an email when you want to. Can't find it now.
Of course, Cricket et al. Will be covering every ball of that series. We've already made our bookings, or I have anyway. Pete, have you?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I
made
my bookings in Adelaide. Yeah, I'm kind of a barrel there. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I've been getting correspondence too from Beverly Miles, my favourite correspondent. She's stuck with me since the Australian days when I used to work for the Australian. I don't know if you know that, Gideon. Beverly tells me she's now 86 years old.
Fantastic.
But she's occasionally enraged by something that's happening in cricket and she has to let me know. And last night, Beverly wrote to me, can I do this? Oh, God. I'm like,
I bet you 86-year-olds don't write to the great cricketer.
No, I don't. Hi, Peter. Cricket tragic Beverly here again. Why is South Africa wearing our colours? South Africa are always green. It's most frustrating. Enjoy the game, Beverly. I said, I know, but I guess it's green's their colour too. Nice to hear from you. She says, well, Peter, if green is also their country, why aren't they wearing all green? We have kids wearing yellow with Australia on them. As host nation, we should decide. I don't know. I'll throw it out there to the Cricket et al. Fans. the great colour controversy when we play South Africa.
Things are so much simpler when everyone wears white.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. All right then.
Yeah.
We put up another podcast during the week, by the way, if anyone was half interested. I don't know if they saw that. That's that one that we did from the Phillip Island Festival of Stories. Was a little bit left field for us.
Yes. Yeah, if you want to know what goes into making the sausage, follow that podcast that we did from Phillip Island. No visual. There's just a single still shot of us, so you'll have to imagine the contortions that we underwent on stage.
No, I have to thank David, the producer, for finding me reading the intro to that with my eyes closed and half asleep. So there are some visuals. It's been a strange experience seeing yourself on TV and camera as I have lately. It's quite alarming, actually. I had no idea I was that mad.
I can't do it. I just can't do it.
You said out of the corner, holy shit, look at that bloke. He's in trouble.
It's like I've never been able to watch Offsiders. No. And I can never listen to this podcast.
Hey, you filed. I haven't had a chance to read it. What have you written this morning?
Yeah. I got a
Cricket et al. Website.
Indeed. I got an email on Sunday morning from my friend Richard Whitehead in the UK, who had told me that Eric Midwinter had passed away. He was 93. He's a most extraordinary man, Eric, an English social historian from a working class background in Manchester, with a variety of enthusiasms which he pursued with great avidity in print. He was obsessed with music hall comedy. He was obsessed with public transport. He was fascinated by English prime ministers, and he was a Manchester United fan. So he wrote extensively on football, But it just so happened that he also loved cricket, and he wrote a dozen really, really good cricket books, hugely different, unusual, often somewhat esoteric, but always entertaining cricket books, some of which are sitting on my table right now. But
I love
Eric was one of those people who was in. Sorry?
The books' titles are outstanding.
They're lovely, aren't they? Yeah.
The Cricketer's Progress.
Yes,
Meadowland, Mumbai.
Yes.
Quill on Willow. I love that.
Yeah. The Lost Seasons, which is his book about cricket during the Second World War in England, is just a beautiful, beautiful book. Yeah. He wrote an excellent biography of W.G. Grace, which I've got here. Really, really good. He was always like a good social historian. He was always interested in what people read rather than what they should have read. He had a real interest in popular literature. So, Quill on Willow, which is sitting here on my desk.
Cricket in literature, yeah.
It's full of kind of middlebrow fictions in which cricket turns up. And this one here, His Captain's Hand on His Shoulder Smote, is a study of cricket as it turns up in things like The Rover and Chums, those English popular magazines of the 1930s and 40s. Sometimes it seemed like Eric was sort of revisiting his own childhood, because he was incapable of forgetting anything. He formed memories early in life that he couldn't get rid of. But he was a wonderfully lucid and discursive writer too. He's really enjoyable to read. There's nothing inky or dense about his books. They flow really beautifully. It's almost like he wrote in fountain pen rather than on a keyboard, and never went back to revise, because it's a very conversational and accessible style. He's still got a book coming. His next book, which is called Christianity at the Crease, is due out in November. And he was always fascinated by the role of the relationship between English cricket and the Church of England. Right. So he's continued to burrow into that issue. But, look, if you get the chance, and you happen to see an Eric Midwinter book in a secondhand store or on a books, do take it, because he writes like nobody else, and he writes as though cricket kind of isn't everything, but it's very important. He kind of gets the significance of cricket in its social and historic context. So in that sense, very, very unusual writer whose I think works we'll be reading in 50 years' time. So Wale, Eric Midwinter, 1932 to 2025, the subject of a piece I've written on Cricket et al. Today.
Before we move on from Midwinter, why was the 1947 cricket season called the Brylcreem Summer?
I'm glad you asked me, Pete. I'm glad you asked, because that allows me to...
Because he has a book called Brylcreem Summer. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the high summer of Dennis Compton and Bill Edrich batting for Middlesex. Compton made 3,816 runs in the season. I think Bill Edrich made 3,539. It was one of those summers where Compton and Edrich were always batting for Middlesex. They're just making runs for fun. And it was kind of... It sort of epitomised or embodied a brief surge in sort of post-war optimism that recaptured a certain sort of Edwardian brio in these two great characters. Of course, Nemesis was lurking around the corner. Bradman's Invincibles were coming to England in 1948 and were going to knock lumps off the English. But it did, and Eric writes about his own recollections of that summer in the book. But it was one of those summers on which the sun always shone and the runs always flowed and the crowds were enormous and joyful. And in a country that had been on short rations and in the grip of war for 6 years, it seemed to the English public like this was what they'd been fighting for all along. So it's a captivating story. It's a cricket story, but it's also a story about England in 1947, and it has the verification of Midwinter's own memory. So delightful book. One of those summers that I think naturally lends itself to a book. In the same way as, say, David Halberstam's The Summer of 49, his book about the 1949 World Series, can tell you a lot about America.
But what did Brylcreem have to do with this?
Oh, well, sorry. Well, Compo...
Bury the lead, mate. Come on.
Compo was famous for his allegiance to Brylcreem.
Right.
He was... Yeah, I'll see if I can find a picture of him with his... No, I can't find a picture of him. But you look up any picture of Compton and his head is polished to a high sheen by the application of that popular hair oil. Actually, there you go. It's on the back of the book. There, you can see.
Oh, that ad, yes.
Doing advertising, yeah.
Oh, and look at that hair.
Of course, Keith Ross Miller loved his Brylcreem as well. And I think VJ Merchant also spruiked for Brylcreem in India. For a brief period, everyone wore oil in their hair, and in order to popularise that fashion, cricketers were used as billboards.
I use Vaseline hair tonic, which I'm holding up in front of you now.
Okay, yes.
I don't know.
What's it doing there?
Hey,
what's it doing there? Just in case you need a top up.
Oh no, it's just where I do my hair before the podcast. And if we have a break, I put a little bit more in.
Yeah, nice.
Brylcreem, a little dabble, do you? Do you remember the ads?
I do, yeah.
Well, everyone still wore oil in it. It's not a thing anymore?
I don't. Well, not that kind of. A long time since I've seen a little tub of Brylcreem. But I mean, there's sort of all sorts of fudges and lotions and potions and goods.
No, Brylcreem was better because it was emulsified, so it wasn't as oily. Did you know that? I'm just reading the ad now. It's for that clean, smart look. You won't be like that character in the Tom Waits song where his girlfriend says, "Johnny, I think about you every time I pass the filling station. I count all that grease you used to wear in your hair."
Oh, yeah. Well, if you see any of those pictures of Miller playing in the 1940s and 50s, he's always, tossing back his Brylcreamed hair. It was a magnetic figure. That was part of, your sort of masculine armour, wasn't it? Right. Putting on your Brylcreem in the morning.
I feel like we've just done an ad read for Brylcreem. Can we bill them? Although I'm the guy I have to roam Sydney to find Vaseline hair tonic, and if I find it, I buy it in bulk.
Just imagine how excited we'd be if you put Saley in your hair.
Yeah, but I'm a good citizen. I always leave one bottle on the shelf for someone else who might be as desperate as I am. Yeah. That's the sort of
I know
code.
That you've run out on tour.
I have.
I've seen you looking a bit fretful when you've realised you've got to the bottom of the tub.
Do you know what happened
in India? Remember that?
In India, it's not such a problem because you can use India has got lots of hair oils available, but they're unfortunately perfumed.
Are they emulsified?
And in fact, I had to get one with a sort of lavender flavoured one when I ran out in the Caribbean recently. But England is a nightmare. I couldn't find hair oil anywhere. So
really,
I have to admit that I ended up doing. I bought a little bottle of olive oil. And I just kind of hoped it wouldn't go off during the day. It was okay. Olive oil works all right. Yeah. Okay.
I reckon that's probably all we've got time for.
Time to move on
this week. Anyway, it's been great to have you with us. We'll be back again next week. But in the meantime, it's goodbye from me.
And it's good night from him.